Hi, today we're going to show you how that we're going to make a leather cover for my purse planner. The reason why we're doing this is so we won't mess up the outside, because my other planner's all scratched up and everything, and I know it doesn't matter, that's what it's for, is to keep the inside of it protected, but I want to be able to have this in my purse, and the type of purse I normally use, this wouldn't just slide in and be still. And the pages and things like that would get messed up. I've had little notebooks and other calendars and such in my purse, and they got ruined. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you some of the tools that we'll be using, because they're larger, and then we're gonna move the camera and I'm gonna show you the smaller tools so that you can see them a little better. The first thing is a straight edge, a ruler, so you can do straight cuts and measure as well. And you also need leather. This is just little pieces of leather that we got. You can get it from Hobby Lobby. I think you can get it at Michael's, but they're just packages of leather sold in just bunches of them. So we've been doing little things with leather for a couple years, and so we have that, so I figured why not use what we have. A piece of wood that is just this. I don't remember what this was, but I think it was a shelf in our old house or something. I don't remember. But anyway, a piece of wood to use for whenever you're punching, and I'll show you the punches in a moment whenever, because it's just kind of small. We need a longer piece of leather for tying it. I'll show you that too. You need a cutting mat as well. And now we're going to move the camera, show you the smaller things. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use to work whenever we do leather. Other people may use other things. I don't have much, but this is just what we use. The first thing is this is a Fiskars rotary blade. Use that to cut the leather with. Then we have a pair of old scissors, and the reason why that you want old scissors is because they will get sticky, because we're going to be using this sinew. Well, it's not real sinew, but people used to use sinew for leather working, but this is just it's the fake stuff. But anyways, you'll be using this, and it has the wax on it, so it does get sticky. And I buy this by the big roll because yeah, it's just cheaper that way. Plus I got this from what was it called? Anyways, a Pioneer Days thing, and where people sell stuff in tents, and yeah, it was super cheap because of that. Like a year ago I got that. And then you need a marker of some sort. We use a Sharpie. You can use whatever kind of marking device you choose. You can use I think it's called an oil pen, grease pen, I don't know, my husband used them at work, but you can use something, just something that will mark on leather and you can see it. You'll need binder clips. We use the little ones. We have used the larger ones as well, but we mainly use the little ones. You'll need a large needle. I like this one because it has a large eye, and I don't even know if you can see it very well, but that type of needle, and it has a kind of a flat, I don't know what kind it's called actually. It's for chairs and sofas in the little pack. That's what it's for. Anyway, I use that, and then I use this old hammer that I got from a yard sale. I don't know what it's actually supposed to be used for, and it's got a wobbly head and it needs to be fixed, but anyway, just an old hammer of some sort. I like this one because it has the smaller tips, but then I also sometimes use this part whenever I'm doing the punching. And what you need that for is the punches. These are punches that are they're different sizes, and they're not interchangeable. I'm going to show you some interchangeable ones too, but these are punches. Oh wait, that one does not belong. These are punches I got from the same place I got this, at a Pioneer thing, like a reenactment for war and stuff like that. Anyway, they had this kind of stuff there. These punches are some that you use. That one actually has leather still stuck in it. Whoops. Alright, and this one is one that I got from Hobby Lobby. It is an interchangeable punch. And it has a little wrench with it for you to tighten that on. And whenever you punch the leather, it comes out here. You'll see that too. And it comes with different size tips. But anyway, this is the punch that I use most of the time. I guess it's because I'm more used to it. But anyway, those are the tools that you need for doing what we're doing. There's a lot more different kinds of different leather tools that you can get. We've actually done some with a wood burning tool. We put initials on something, on leather. So anyway, I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way, get it set up, and show you how we're going to start. We're going to start out by cutting the leather all to the right size pieces. And so my husband will be doing that because he's better at measuring things. So we'll be back in a second. Okay, he has it set up so that he can measure the piece of leather to fit the book. And he's decided that it's going to be a 1/2 inch on the top and bottom. We're not going to be cutting the sides yet, just the top and the bottom, or actually the top. So he's got that figured out, that it needs to be a 1/2 inch allowance. The book is 7.5, so that means it's going to have to be 8.5 from the bottom of this leather to the top of the leather. Okay, on this end, it's not going to be cut at all. And on this end, he's going to cut all this weird stuff off. Okay, and this piece is going to be the little pocket on the inside to hold the book in place, because it's going to have one pocket on the inside that, like, just to hold the book. And the way this is going to be is it's going to fold over like this and like this. And you'll see the rest of it. But he's going to go ahead and get this piece cut to the size that it needs to be. Okay, the next step is figuring out where the pocket goes to securely hold this in place. It's only going to be held by one pocket whenever it's in the case. So he's going to figure that out, and then we're going to use the binder clips to hold it until I get it prepared to sew. Let me take that out. That's just something I gotta do later.
How far you want it to go?
All the way over the front.
How far do you want it to go over?
I want it to cover the front.
How far?
To cover the front, that's it. I mean, like that's fine. That's not straight. Does that need to be moved or what?
Stretch it.
Hmm? Okay, the next step will be putting the holes in, and I have gotten the smallest, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I've got the smallest, well, I've tightened it too much. I've got the smallest one of the bits in this so that I can have a smaller hole. Like I said, there's some of them with the bigger holes, and I don't know if you can actually see the holes, but that one will fit inside of that one. That's how much difference there is, and like this one is pretty big. So I've got the smallest one that I own anyway. I don't know, how much is that? A 1/16 of an inch? Maybe? 1/8 of an inch? Okay, I'm not good at that stuff. So I'm gonna take my hammer and I'm gonna take my punch and I'm gonna poke the holes in here. And if you're doing this on an old work table or something, it doesn't matter. This is our dining room table, which actually needs to be refinished anyway, but I don't want to poke any holes in it, so I'm using pieces of wood here. So you just take it and you just tap it through both of the layers of leather, and you'll have a hole there and a hole there. And with this kind, and I don't know if it's every kind, but I've noticed that this kind, whenever you tap it too much, this will loosen up. So keep your wrench close by, because whenever it gets to where it's falling off, it's really annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of the holes, and then I'll show you the next part. Okay, now I'm going to use the faux sinew to sew this. So what you do is you just get you a pretty good bit off. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to need, but I get a pretty good bit because I don't want to have to piece it. You can piece it and it's fine, but I'm just going to try not to do that. Get a piece off, cut it off, and it's really simple to thread through this because it's just so it's such a big needle eye. So what I do is I start in the first hole and I go through, and then once I get to the end, which I might have made this a little too long, I get to this end and I'm going to tie a knot in it, a pretty good knot. Let me see if I can do this where you can see it. But I'm just going to tie a really good knot in the end. That way it won't come loose. Come loose. Loose? That's not a word. Come loose. Whatever. It won't come apart anyway. So I got that knot tied right there. And I'm just going to let that hang out right there for now until I get done with the rest of it. And what I'm going to do, you can, which I am going to do that with part of it, you can just go straight across, or you can come out from the outside and come back in, which is what I want to do. So I'm going to come from the outside and come in, and I'm just going to do that the whole way on the bottom and the top, but on the side I'm going to do that differently. I'm just going to go through the little holes that I've already made. I can go ahead and take the binder clips off because the holes are there. There's no reason to have those there anymore. Okay, and once you get to that end where that side is stopped, you need to make sure that this is tight like you want it, because this will be your only chance to tighten this up. After you get this part, next part started, you won't be able to tighten it up. So I've got it tight like I want it. And now I'm going to start on my side part. And I'm going to sew it differently. Whenever I do it, I'm not going to go around because I can't go all the way around. I'm just going to go through, well, if I can find the hole, there we go. I'm going to go through there like that. And then I'm going to go back through the next hole in line. And as I go, I'm going to make sure it's tight. But I'm going to go ahead and just go through each one of these holes until I get to the end of this side. Okay, and so now that's done all the way on that side. And I'm going to flip it and show you what the other side looks like. It looks like that, and I went ahead and made sure it was tight the whole way. You're moving it around. I didn't know what you were doing.
You didn't have it on.
Okay. I'm not used to it being focused in so small. Anyway, this is what it looks like on this side. And that's what it looks like on this side. And I made sure it was tight because, like I said, that's your only chance to tighten this stuff is now. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the top side the same way I did with the bottom. But, okay, since this one came out this side, I'm going to start on the outside. Okay, and on that side, you go ahead and make sure it's tight, which I did already. And once you get to the end, you can take your needle out because you don't need it anymore. And, well, actually, you could, it would help you to do this part. To tie the knot at the end. I didn't think about that. You go through your last stitch that you did. And then you take, the way I do it, other people may do it differently, I don't know. And I go through and I tighten that up, just like that. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do it at least 2 more times, but I hope that I can get this to where you can see it. Okay. Go through your last stitch all the way through, which I did make mine a little too large, which I can always, I'm going to show you what to do with that too. You just loop it back through that, and you pull as tight as you can to tie a knot. And I'm going to do it one more time because for some reason I always do it like 3 times. That way I have the knot done and I don't have to worry about it coming out. But I loop that through my sinew or thread or whatever you want to call it, my waxy thread, and then I pull it as tight as I can, and then I just snip off the end. And I go ahead and I snip off the end on this side, and all of this leftover you can just put it back onto your thing, and it's not hurt. You can just use it over and over again. Well, until it's all gone. Alright, so the next thing I would do was try to make sure, or put this in to make sure it's actually in there correctly. It's gonna fit. So that is in there, and that will go over that way, and then that will be that way. We're gonna show you what the next part is now. Okay, so now we got a place to hold the planner. Now it's not gonna stay in there if you hold it like that. It's not gonna work. This is just a cover to make sure that nothing happens to it. And I had thought about putting a pocket over here, but I decided against that, which you can do. I've got other ones that we made that we've made pockets in and stuff. But we gotta have a way to close it. And this is actually a tool that I didn't show you. It is a ceramic box cutter. He's gonna be using that to cut some little slits into the leather so that he can take this piece of leather and run it through to hold it together. So now he's gonna do that part. Okay, so now I have a case for my planner so it doesn't get scratched up. And it was not too hard to do. Just had to figure out the right measurements, which we've done stuff like this before, so that's why it wasn't very hard. So yeah, there's a case for my planner. I want to thank you for watching, and remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.